Welcome to the dystopian world of The Walking Dead, Dead City, where mutant zombie creatures roam the streets and the Hudson River, although slightly less polluted, sets the eerie backdrop. This thrilling continuation of the Walking Dead saga delves into the complex relationship between Negan, a baseball bat-wielding survivor, and Maggie, who appears to be emotionally resilient despite witnessing her husband's murder. Join me as we explore the haunting streets of post-apocalyptic Manhattan, uncover its enigmatic ending, and speculate about a potential season 2. At the heart of Dead City lies Maggie Rhee, the true protagonist, standing atop a vantage point, gazing upon the shattered Manhattan skyline. In the wake of the zombie virus outbreak, New York becomes one of its epicenters, and the government resorted to drastic measures by destroying all tunnels and bridges that connected Manhattan to the mainland, trapping countless inhabitants. Now, years later, the city appears desolate, with only a few rogue survivors struggling for dominance. Maggie embarks on a treacherous journey with a purpose. Her son, Herschel, has been abducted by the season's main antagonist, a mysterious figure known as Crow. Brace yourself, for when the Crow takes on the role of a villain, chaos and danger are guaranteed. To retrieve her son, Maggie must form an uneasy alliance with Negan Smith, the ruthless man responsible for her husband's death. Negan is currently evading the relentless pursuit of the New Babylon marshals after he killed a magistrate and 4 of his men. With this intense setup, Dead City promises an enthralling and emotional rollercoaster ride, as Maggie and Negan's uneasy partnership leads to an unpredictable and gripping tale in the heart of the undead-infested metropolis. Maggie goes on a quest to find Negan, believing that his knowledge about Crow could aid her in rescuing her son. Despite their troubled history, Negan has nowhere else to turn as he is on the run. Additionally, he feels responsible for Jenny, a young girl whose father he took under his wing after he was killed. Maggie strikes a deal with Negan, offering protection for Jenny at the Bricks, a fortified farming community, in exchange for his assistance. According to Maggie's account, the Crowette, a ruthless group, arrived at the Bricks demanding regular tributes of grain and took her son Herschel as collateral. This incident fuels Maggie's desire not only to retrieve her son, but also in the exploitation of her people by eliminating the Crowette. However, there's a twist to Maggie's plan. Unknown to Negan, the Crowette doesn't want grain, they want him. By teaming up with Negan and eventually handing him over to the Crowette, Maggie hopes to get her son back and avenge her husband's death at the hands of the man they seek. In the final episode, titled Doma SMO, a Croatian phrase meaning we are home, Jenny and Negan reunite. Jenny decided to leave the safety of the Bricks and disobey Negan's orders to be with him, knowing that staying with him could jeopardize her safety. He reveals the painful truth to her about her father's fate. Negan was the one who killed him. He admits that taking her under his wing initially might have been a manipulation driven by guilt, as he didn't want her to suffer the same fate. Though Negan may not fully believe this himself, he sees it as a necessary sacrifice to ensure her safety. He'd rather risk losing her forever than put her life in danger by keeping her around. Consequently, Jenny departs, now under the care of Marshall Armstrong, and returns to the Bricks. Left with only each other, Negan and Maggie continue their journey, making their way to Staten Island Ferry Terminal, where Negan becomes increasingly suspicious of their circumstances. In the sewers, Maggie made an accusation to Jenny, claiming that the Crowette had not only taken her son, but also their food and grain from the Bricks. However, Jenny knew this was a lie because when she was there, she witnessed an abundance of food and a full silo. Realizing Maggie's deceit, Jenny decides to escape and leave behind a message that simply says, liar. This is the first time Jenny speaks since her father's death, but she is cut off before she can fully express herself. It seems like she intended to warn Negan about Maggie's dishonesty, advising him to not trust her true intention. This warning makes Negan suspicious of Maggie, leading to a tense knife battle between the two over a horde of bloodthirsty zombies. As the Crowette and his men arrive, Negan is captured and part of the Crowette's plan is revealed. The Crowette had learned about a story from a former member of the Saviors, Negan's previous group of survivors, in which a pregnant woman witnessed her husband's death at Negan's hands. Armed with this knowledge, the Crowette saw her and manipulated her into helping capture Negan. The plan succeeded, and true to his word, the Crowette released Herschel in exchange for Negan. However, Herschel was far from grateful for his rescue. Instead, he held a different perspective, believing that his mother's priority was seeking revenge on Negan rather than genuinely saving him. In fact, he found solace within the Crow, as it spared him from the constant fear of encountering more adversity unlike when he was out in the bricks. Maggie, being an overprotective mother, frequently scolded her son for not adhering to rules and skipping classes. She knew all too well the cruelty of the world and was merely trying to shield her son from harm. The last words she uttered to Herschel before he got kidnapped were scolding him for recklessly grabbing his shovel to confront the Croat and his men. This complicated mother-son relationship holds much to unpack. Meanwhile, a scene involving Marshall Armstrong and the authorities in New Babylon introduced an intriguing thread for Season 2. The woman, credited as the New Babylon leader, expressed keen interest in the buildup of methane beneath Manhattan's surface. Throughout the street, bubbling methane pockets were observed in the streets, which could potentially be used as fuel. Additionally, in Episode 3, it was revealed that the Croat had been utilizing deceased walkers, storing them in the sewers for some purpose. The news of this discovery has reached the people of the New Babylon, and they seem eager to assert their claim over it. This leads to Negan's encounter with Dama, whose name translates to lady in Croatian. Dama is the true leader of the Barazi, a faction comprising Croat's men that holds significant influence over Manhattan. Her group has set up their base in a dilapidated theater, which is quite fitting given her belief that politics is nothing more than a mere performance. This is precisely why Dama seeks Negan's assistance. She requires a leader who can demonstrate a ruthless side, someone capable of subduing adversities through sheer force. When the Croat informed Dama about a man who perfectly fits the description, she sent him on a mission to locate Negan. Interestingly, the Croat views Dama as a motherly figure, likening Negan and Dama's meeting to that of a mother and father coming together. Any past grievances between Croat and Negan now seem to be water under the bridge. The Croat used to be Negan's torturer, and Negan retaliated by shooting off his ear when he disobeyed and killed a young girl. The Croat has come to understand that Negan's actions were exactly what the Barazi needed in a leader, one who can maintain order and prioritize the stability of their people. Dama proposes a deal to Negan, offering him the opportunity to help lead the Barazi and unite the various settlements in Manhattan under a single rule. This unified force aims to counter the marshals of New Babylon, who covet their natural resources. Dama firmly believes that a clash of civilizations is inevitable and they must be prepared to face it together. The missing puzzle piece in this complex situation is a strong leader unafraid to embrace ruthless tactics to achieve victory, even if it means becoming a monster. And who fits that description better than Negan? The Dama presents Negan with a chilling gift, a morbid box containing Herschel's severed pinky toe, as a grim reminder of what she's capable of if he doesn't cooperate. Negan finds himself trapped, forced to choose between aiding the Barazi or risking the lives of Maggie, Jenny, Herschel, and the others at the bricks who could fall victim to the Barazi's wrath. As if the situation wasn't complicated enough, it appears Herschel had developed a connection with the enigmatic Dama. He expressed a desire to be back with her, and Maggie discovers drawings that hint at some form of bond between them. One sketch in particular depicts the Dama herself. She claims Herschel felt safe and open around her, suggesting that she played a strong contrasting role to the hostile Croat. There might be more to the story that meets the eye.